Who better to answer some of those questions now bothering every Indian cricket fan than the one and only legendary Sunil Gavaskar? Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Gavaskar. I know you are not well, so I thank you for joining me despite having a bad cold and cough. Would I be right in calling this Kiwi sweep one of the lowest points in Indian cricket, losing at home 3-0 to New Zealand, a team that had only won 2 tests in India before this? Almost unthinkable. Is it a new low?
It is. It is a new low because of the way this Indian cricket team has been performing at home over the last so many years. Over the last so many years, they have come back from behind. They won matches against England and Australia, who have always been thought of as being even better and sterner opponents than what New Zealand could be. And that is the reason why, this was totally unexpected against Australia, against England. One could have said, yeah, they've got the team, they've got the players. But against this New Zealand team, therefore, it was not expected that India would lose all three test matches.
If there was one factor, Mr. Gavaskar, you would single out for this abysmal show, what would that one factor be?
I think it's the failure of the batting. Um, Everybody, literally, I think, struggled with the bat on pitches where there was help for the bowlers. So I think that was probably the main reason. Batters didn't score enough runs, particularly in Pune and in Mumbai.
You seem to suggest, as you said now, a collective batting failure. Would it be right to say that the new generation of Indian players struggle against spin bowling on turning wickets? This was something we were masters of at one stage. Do you agree this is a major flaw that has not been rectified, playing against spin on turning wickets?
Yes, I think it's been a situation ever since the white ball game has come in. The white ball game encourages batters to play with hard hands, where you're looking to push at the ball, get the ball away. Now, on pitches where the ball is doing something, whether it is seam, swing, turn, I think you need to be playing with at least one soft hand, if not two soft hands. And therefore, that bat speed, which can be then controlled, where the edges which are now going to the slip fielders would fall just a little short if you played with soft hands. So it's the bat speed that has been the cause, because India is now playing a lot more of the white ball game than test matches.
Yeah, I get the soft hands point, but I'm sure you never played, Mr. Gavaskar, a reverse sweep in your entire career against spin bowling in test. Do you ever recall that? Was it always use your feet, step out and drive was the way to combat spin, wasn't it?
But step out and get to the pitch of the ball and drive. I know Ian Chappell used to say the sweep is played by batters. The regular sweep, orthodox sweep, is played by batters who can't use their feet, and it's just like a get out of jail kind of shot. If it comes out, great. If it doesn't come out, you're out, back in the pavilion. So while the reverse sweep was not very much in fashion during our time, when it is played well, I think it is one of the finest shots that one can see. I really love watching the reverse sweep being played being played properly. Whether it's hit in the air and into the stands, or the way they control it with the wrists over it. When it's executed well, it's one of the most beautiful shots in the game now.
Mr. Gavaskar, I saw a smile on your face when you spoke about the reverse sweep. So I think it's partly tongue-in-cheek there when you said that. But somewhere, did we lose these games in the mind? When you're chasing just 147, yes, on a turning wicket at the Wankhede or indeed in Pune, is this a problem more in the mind of temperament now than technique, Mr. Gavaskar?
Definitely. More a problem of temperament. Because the temperament now is that, and that is again a white ball legacy, is that two or three dot balls, we've got to go and try and impose ourselves on the bowlers. So go for a big shot, go for an aerial shot. If it comes off, great. But where the ball is doing something, then these chances are a lot less. In white ball cricket, the white ball itself doesn't really, swing, seam, or even spin as much as the red ball does. It's got to do with the seam, the silai, as we call it, and which is the reason why it's a lot easier to get away with all these shots in white ball. While in the red ball, unless you're right on top of the ball or right under the ball, you're going to struggle. So while the technique is there, it's the temperament, it's the thinking that I can do this by because the boundaries are short, the bats are so good, guys are all strong as well, so we can hit it into the stands.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Where does the buck stop, Mr. Gavaskar? Should the buck stop now with Captain Rohit Sharma, Coach Gautam Gambhir, and the entire team management? They are the ones who opted for these turning wickets in the second and third test after we lost the first one. Should someone be held accountable? Who? Captain, coach, team management, in your view?
Well, I think when a loss happens, then obviously you look, as everything, you look at, the where the buck stops, and the buck has to stop with the captain and the coach more than anything else. But it's early days for the coach, so what I think is that uh, while the results speak for themselves, because for the first time we lost in Sri Lanka as well, and now this loss to New Zealand. Unless things improve in Australia, questions will definitely be asked, and harder questions than what you are asking now.
Important. Unless things improve, hard questions will have to be asked unless things improve in Australia. You're saying in a way that the Australian tour could almost be decisive, therefore, for the careers of several people. Many believe the future of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma could be decided in Australia. Could it decide also the future of Gautam Gambhir as coach?
Well, I think it could be a tour which could decide a lot of futures, and I'm hoping that question solves itself in Australia.
Let's turn to the other elephant in the room, which is Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. Is it important for them to do now really well in Australia for them to prolong their careers? And as I said, for Gautam Gambhir to show he is still the coach made for the job. Lots of careers on the line, but especially Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli.
Because they are at an age and at a stage in their careers where there will be a second ring, which will be looking to get an opportunity, yes.
But is there fundamentally something wrong with Kohli and Rohit's batting at the moment? Has something gone wrong? Do they simply need to go back to the drawing board, play more domestic cricket, which they can't do because they're on this international circuit? Is there something that has gone wrong with their batting?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong technically with both of them. I think they all, got some great deliveries. A couple of shots that Rohit Sharma played were probably not really on at that stage. But the Australian pitches are very good pitches to bat on. After the first 10, 12 overs are done with the Kookaburra ball, which hardly will move after the, say, maybe 12 overs or so. These pitches will be beautiful to bat on. So it's a matter of just showing a little bit of patience, a little bit of common sense, and they'll be back in the runs against.
What would you advise them? What, about 15 days to go for that tour to Australia? Go back to the nets, practice more, or just switch off from the game? What would you advise these batsmen in particular who've been so horribly out of form?
I think you need to get the flow right. And particularly in your mid-30s, you got to be getting that bat speed, the flow, everything right. So rather than relax, more practice, more matches is probably the answer.
The problem is very few matches now between now and Australia. If there's one big change though, what would that be? Should we be changing the team structure, bringing anyone new into the team? Or is this simply going with the same team that has served us reasonably well in the last decade?
I don't see any major change happening. I think the major change could, like I said, could happen after the tour of Australia. And that too, if we don't do well. But otherwise, this team has brought glory to the country as early as this year against England, when they came back after a defeat in the first test and won the next 4 test matches. So yes, this has been a bad series. This has been a bad dream. So I'm still very optimistic about this team. I'm still saying that we have to back this team because this is our team, and we have to give them all the support so that they go to Australia in a better frame of mind and can come back with a win. Even
Your
if that
prediction
means
for
that we
Australia,
don't
which is
qualify for the World Test Championship final.
yeah, you mentioned the World Test Championship final. Your prediction for Australia, what's your scoreline, Mr. Gavaskar?
Uh, my prediction before this New Zealand series was that India would win 3-1. Now my prediction is probably a little less optimistic. I think India will probably win. Probably win 2-1.
India to win 2-1 in Australia. Okay. After losing 3-0 to New Zealand at home. Final question. I'm going to let you go. I know you're not keeping well. Maybe the players should get you in the nets, Mr. Gavaskar, to give them a few tips on how to step out and drive.
Well, they won't get much opportunity to do that in Australia, step out and drive, because they'll be playing more pace.